This story comes from r/CreepyEncounters by AC 645. Random lady in the middle of night in the middle of the road. This dates a bit back to the times when you actually can go to pubs and concerts and other things. And me and my friends decided that we will go to see some epically underground thrash metal/hardcore punk bands in a town couple of miles next to ours. We took train because nobody had their license in that time and decided that we will just find some sleeping post afterwards. This underground club was not in the town, but on remote road in the middle of nowhere when even the light pollution were not a thing. Basically, small house was the club. Lot of people, lot of fun, amazing bands. After the show, which ended super late, we took our stuff and headed back to town, find some spot to sleep. We were just walking in the dark talking BS. When we arrive at intersection and right in the middle of it, there is sitting a lady, all in dark clothes with a small stone in hand, just drawing something into the asphalt. We stopped, looked at her for a while. One of us said hello to her. She just looked up and without anything she said, "I know, what are you looking for? For a place to spend the night, right?" We stood there like idiots, just nodded, and she just told us, "We'll go right this way. You will find there a church with creepy statues. You might like it. And a bit further, there is a empty house." We said thanks and went that way, just looking at each other and saying how spooky this was silently. When I look back, she was gone. So yeah, we arrive at the church, peeked through windows, seen those statues. Bit drunk, we tried to just scare the shit out of each other's. Walked around a bit and then found the house. It was actually under construction, without doors and windows placed in it. But for some reason, we found and toy tin soldiers all around, which did not add the overall spookiness much. We told to ourselves that sleeping in this house is not right. Someone really tried to reconstruct house, and even that is Saturday, that they will definitely will be there tomorrow, and last thing we want is to be found sleeping in the house. Again. So we went back the road a bit, then went near a woods, unpacked the things, and called it a night. Next morning, we checked around the church again. We find out that we walked around unsealed well, just few foots away, and that's it. Talked about the lady next day, but nobody actually cared about anything. Being young, drunk, and stupid is sometimes good. Well, this story comes from r/CreepyEncounters by Lil Fanatics, the longest 5 minutes walk of my life. I'm 22, yo male. It was a regular morning. I'd just gotten off the bus and was walking the 5 minutes to campus with my headphones on. The university was massive, plastered with signs. You couldn't miss it. It's an important detail still. A dirty little minivan pulled up beside me. The man inside looked like he was in his 40s. His clothes were grimy. The van was grimy, but nothing strange. It's normal for those local vans that haul all kinds of junk. He asked gently where the uni was. I pointed, smiled, told him it was straight ahead, and declined his offer of a lift. Seemed generous. He drove off. I put my headphones back in and kept walking. 1 minute later, the van was stopped in front of me again. "Get in," he said. "I'll give you a ride." I smiled and repeated the same no thanks. I was a few steps away. He stared at me for a few seconds, then drove away. I kept going. My friend called, telling me he'd be late and to wait in the cafeteria. I answered the phone, and as I talked, the van rolled up beside me for the third time. He asked again, but this time the tone had shifted. He looked at me longer. His gaze slid from my chest to my feet. He wasn't just offering help anymore. He looked tense, like someone who expected to be obeyed. "Oh," I put the phone out of my ear and told him, "Dude, the uni is literally 2 steps away." I pointed. "Thanks, but..." "No." He watched me for a few seconds more and drove off. I was busy with all the studies that waited me, so I didn't pay attention. The road stayed nearly empty. By then I realized he wasn't lost. If he wanted to get to campus, he'd already be there. He'd looped the block. He was circling me. My first honest thought was confusion, then anger. Why had I been polite? And then the sharper feeling, concern. I flipped on a survival mode, and even if he wanted to rob me, he had many chances to do. The road were empty. 1 minute later, at the edge of the campus wall, he stopped me again. "Get in. I'll give you a ride." This time I looked at him dead in the face and said, "No, now you can go wherever the hell you want to go." He didn't even look at my face all the time. He stared at my hair, then my body for a straight 30 seconds, slow and hungry, like a predator deciding which move to make. I couldn't read his eyes. Lust? Something darker? I didn't want to know. I noticed something in the passenger seat. A rope. It was a small detail, but it landed like a weight in my chest. For a second I imagined scenes. I'll jump him, I'll punch him, I'll teach him a lesson. I felt that boiling, stupid hero instinct. The idea that I could handle it because I'm a guy like him. I wasn't a very strong guy, but I thought I had a good chance. Or because I can't let this slide cause him a man. I crossed the road and slipped through the university gate, leaving the van behind me. But the van pulled up near the campus walls and parked. I stopped inside the door, frozen and shaking with a mess of emotions. Shock, confusion, anger. I even told myself out loud, maybe I should have gotten in the van. Maybe I should have let him put his hands on me so I could beat him when he let his guard down. I wanted him to meet the wrong person. Believe it or not, I turned around and was heading outside the campus back to him to do it. Then my friend messaged, "Okay, I just arrived. Let's finish our study." He called again, telling me to hurry so we could find a good spot in the library. I let the sigh out slow and walked back inside. I didn't go back to the van, leaving him outside. Now, writing this, I know how reckless that impulse to be the hero was. It was raw emotion, not strategy. I'm calm and gentle by nature, but men sometimes think they can handle sexual assault, like it's a problem they can fix with a force. That's not true. It can go wrong in a second. I'm very lucky it didn't for me. So did I handle it well? When I told my friend this, he told me it was very stupid and reckless for you to even consider getting up with him. And I agree, so if you read this, stay safe. This story comes from r/CreepyEncounters by Hollow Neon. I can't tell if I was being hunted or if I'm just paranoid. I, 20F, experienced something recently that hasn't left my mind. I can't tell if I'm overreacting or if something was actually wrong. Some background. I own a horse and often walk to the barn, which is about an hour away. I enjoy the forest path that leads there. It's around a 30-minute walk to the nearest main road from the barn. The forest itself isn't very large. You could explore the whole thing in about an hour and a half. I usually stick to the main road since it has little traffic and is more comfortable to walk. One afternoon, with sunset just around the corner, I walked to the barn as always. The area around it is fairly open, with maybe 2 or 3 houses. I spotted a man near one of the houses, standing in between bushes, holding a rifle. I should mention I am from Central Europe, where guns are uncommon and require a license. That alone was strange, since I have only seen a gun once or twice in my life. I tried to brush it off because it looked like a hunting rifle. Still, something about him felt off. The second thing that bothered me was his clothes. He was not wearing camo or anything that suggested he was hunting. Instead, he had on a bright blue hoodie, a cap and shorts. Hunting in that area did not even make sense. I have been going to this barn for 5 years, and the only wildlife I have ever seen are a few hares. I'm not even sure it's allowed. The forest is mostly used by riders, their horses, and people going on walks. He was also pacing right in front of a house, which made no sense if he was after birds or other animals. The third detail was that he had some kind of stand for the rifle. He was pacing the fence back and forth like he was trying to find a place to set it up. The fence was tall, so the house owners could not have seen him from their side. I stared too long while trying to figure out what he was doing, and he eventually noticed me and looked me in the eyes. I quickly looked down at the ground, trying to act uninterested, but I could feel him staring. When I was about to pass him, I was roughly 3 meters away from him. I saw from the corner of my eye that he aimed the rifle at me. I froze inside. With my survival skills of a vegetable, I told myself to keep walking and prayed he would not do it. In public, I did not run because I was afraid he would shoot. My body wanted to collapse, but I forced myself to keep moving. I do not know how long he kept the gun aimed at my back. I was too scared to look behind me. Then I heard the gun cock. My heart dropped. I sped up my pace until I turned the corner. Then I finally sprinted. he did not follow me. I ended up sitting in my horse's stall for what felt like hours. By then it was completely dark. I had not seen a single person at the barn or on the way there. I felt completely alone. I was paranoid he might be waiting somewhere since I might have seen something I was not supposed to. Eventually I calmed down enough to leave, and I decided to take the forest path home, just in case he really was waiting for me on the road. I have never felt so terrified in my life. My fear of the dark was nothing compared to the fear of being shot on the way home. Every little sound made me jump. I was too scared to use a flashlight, so I moved by memory and faint moonlight. The problem was that the forest path eventually spits you out on the same road I came from. My only other option was a long walk through a wide open field, which I did not want to risk either. I only had a couple hundred meters left of forest path before it ended, near the main road where I could take a bus. I took a few steps and then saw a thin red light in the bushes, a laser, I assume, flickering around. It was not aimed directly at me, but 2 or 3 meters to my right. My gut screamed that if I take another step, I die. I have never run faster in my entire life. What is usually a 30-minute walk felt like both seconds and hours. I ran back to the barn, locked myself in the dressing room, and called a close friend of mine to pick me up. There was no way I was going out there again. I still do not know what happened. Maybe it was a coincidence. I assume he would have shot me regardless if he really wanted to, or at least would have gone after me. He was a full-grown adult man. He would have hunted me down if silencing me, having seen his face, would be the intention. I did not hear the gun cock again, and nobody chased me, but every instinct I had was screaming danger. I still get shivers thinking about it. For anyone who knows anything about guns, is it realistic someone would actually use a laser in this kind of situation? What I saw was definitely not a sniper rifle, and I do not even know if using a laser makes sense since it is so visible in the dark. Was I just connecting dots that were not there, or did I really outrun something life-threatening?